Welcome everyone to the Music Reel. I'm your host, Nicola Burton, and today we have a very special guest from Caldwell in New Jersey. We have Dr. Dominic Smorra from Smorra Chiropractic. Dom, how are you?
Hi, Nicki. I'm wonderful, thank you.
It's good to see you. It's been too long, my friend, too long.
Time flies.
It does. Now, the reason why I've got Dominic on as a guest today is, now he's a health professional, and I know you're thinking, why would a health professional be interviewed on the Music Reel? But this is a man who's created a lot of different health initiatives across the states with incredible results. He's a man who knows how to organize people. He's a man who understands what brings people together, what connects people. And he's also a man who, when I think of a super fan, I think of Dom. Now, when I've been in New York, he's introduced me to so much of the nightlife, so much of the culture, so much of, I guess, the rich history that's there. So that's why, Dom, I thank you for talking to me today, because I know you are a huge super fan of what's the group that you love?
The super fan level, I would say, is Grateful Dead.
The Grateful Dead. Now,
that would be I would say I'm at super fan status for Grateful Dead.
Okay, so great. Now we have a lot of artists that are watching this, and I guess the holy grail for them is to create a super fan. So we want to understand psychologically, what does it take for you to become a super fan? What does a band need to do to get you to become a super fan?
I can say that as a discerning consumer of music and listener of music, I'm also a musician. When I was earlier in my life, I was a professional musician. As a teenager, actually.
That's right. You were a drummer, weren't you?
Yes.
Drummer.
Yeah. And so I would say that number one, you have to begin with delivering the goods, really knowing how to entertain. You have to be able to have that. The audience be spellbound by you and to be wanting to hear every note. And in order to do that, the music has to be of the highest quality in that it has to be written in an entertaining way. And for me, as a discerning consumer of music and knowing how to make music myself, and then I'm listening to make sure that the music is just super, and that the compositions are unbelievable, and that the lyrics are meaningful, that the singer is finishing the notes.
Yes. And like if I look behind you, you've got that painting behind you. Now that's Jerry Garcia, who I had no idea.
That's an original Jerry Garcia painting, the lead guitar player for the Grateful Dead.
So
yes, that's an original.
So it's not just about the music, is it? It's about, so what is it that's made you then buy his art as a super fan?
That's interesting. Well, I would say that there's a tribal bonding certainly within the Grateful Dead super fan community. And there are many, many Grateful Dead fans who began in the 1960s. I was born in '62, so my first concert was in 1972. My mother brought me to see Eric Clapton and John Mayall Blues Band and Alice Cooper. My brother and I were taken to my godfather was a promoter, and that was my first rock concert. But I would say that the Grateful Dead had a brilliant idea, and that was to, in combination with having the I think the best songwriting that I've ever listened to in the meaning of the words, they put together a tremendous songwriter, Robert Hunter, together with the virtuoso guitar of Jerry Garcia, and the rest of the bandmates were just amazing artists. And they had something what they did was they had the foresight to allow the recording of their music live. So when people went to see Grateful Dead concerts from the 1960s right up until it would have been this summer. There was a canceled Grateful Dead concert that was going to happen at Giant Stadium, MetLife Stadium here in New Jersey, in August, that was canceled because of the pandemic. But they allow tapers. They used to call them. They have a taper session where people come, and they used to be recording the tapes on the cassettes at the time, and now it's evolved. But they've always allowed their live concerts to be taped free. And then what happened was all of the fans would pass them around to each other. I would say to you, Nicki, here, I'm gonna give you a Cornell University, Barton College from 1977. And I'm gonna give you this. I would give it to you, and then you would listen to it, and you would be just blown away. Then you would turn around and say to me, okay, well, I've got 74 Winterland, California, and you give that to me, and then I would listen to that concert. And so people began to learn about the Grateful Dead through these tapes being passed around to each other.
So the tribe was built by doing that. Very clever marketing.
It was a brilliant thing, and that really, going against the idea of saying, hey, you got to sell everything. Yeah. That's my product. You got to sell it. Instead, they allowed it to be replicated and distributed, and that's what built everything. So that they were gonna sell out 80,000 people at Giant Stadium, at MetLife Stadium in August. And they're all in their 70s, and their place was going to be sold out.
So now you've got, I guess, like us, you've got everything cancelled. And I know the thing I know about you and your wife, you're always in New York looking at live shows, whether it's Broadway, whether it's at the Carlyle, which the book is behind you there, which is really cool.
That's the Carlyle Hotel, which houses the Cafe Carlyle, which is an intimate venue, which I encourage all people who go to visit New York that want to have a wonderful evening out. It could be considered romantic, or it could be considered just musically entertaining, or both. But you can have dinner and in an intimate atmosphere where there's only about 90 people.
Wow.
And you have some just amazing artists. Steve Tyrell is there in usually the holidays, and John Pizzarelli, the jazz person, Suzanne Vega off the top of my head. We saw Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks's wife.
Yeah.
We saw her recently. Joan Osborne was there before the pandemic. But wow. the intimacy of the Cafe Carlyle makes it so wonderful. And the history of the Carlyle, I mean, the Kennedys, that's their home. John F. Kennedy and Jackie always at the Carlyle. The royal family stays at the Carlyle, the English royal family. Mick Jagger at the Carlyle. So there's a history that permeates the hallways, and so I try to go there once a year with my family, because it at least once a year, there's just something to it. There's an energy to it.
Yeah,
and it's the energy that creates the super fan.
That was my next question, because when we're no longer having live shows, because you don't have that energy exchange happening.
That's difficult.
What do you think about the live streaming as a way, like, is that as satisfying for you?
It's adequate.
Yeah.
It's adequate. However, it's not going to create the super fan. It may keep super fans somewhat satisfied, but it's not going to do it. I don't believe it's going to do it. I think so. You could use it. I'm not saying not to do anything. Do it, but right now, from a Grateful Dead super fan perspective, there are many. I belong to a Facebook page called the Sunday Night Dead Show, and every Sunday night a live Grateful Dead concert is played on Facebook through this group. And so it's just remarkable, especially when the band is touring live. When the band is live, because then they've got the shows coming out all the time and we're watching the shows.
Yeah.
Right now, rather than I think that the best music that's being played right now are live shows that already occurred, that are being replayed, not live shows that are being, with the camera streamed live now. Unless you got to deliver the goods, because otherwise it could be boring. And so I encourage the artists to know that you need to finish your notes, and you need to know that a song needs to have a crescendo that makes a person leap out of their shoes. And if the song doesn't make a person do that, you don't have them.
Perfect.
You have to get them emotionally attached to your music, and it has to create a feeling in them. Because music, how about just, let's say, from Joseph Campbell. The author Joseph Campbell, he wrote about music, and he's saying music has an awakening function. Life is rhythm. Art is an organization of rhythms. The rhythm of music awakens the life rhythms, and it creates a life experience. The Grateful Dead, you go see a Grateful Dead concert, you have been around the world in a day. You are totally satiated and satisfied. You've gone through all the ranges of emotion, from exhilarated to the feeling of maybe sadness at certain moments in certain sad songs, in ballads, but always though, entertained from beginning to end. And that's what it's really missing for the most part in today's music culture. People, I don't know what it is that's what's preventing it. I don't know. I mean, hip hop has a lot of soul in it. But the combination of where you have tremendous words and lyrics with tremendous music together, having those lyrics be understood in the way they're sung, so that you know the words, so that way they can sing along with you over time. Because Grateful Dead concerts are sing-alongs, and also the greatest dance party you've ever imagined. You get grown men dancing, grown white men dancing.
Love to see that. I think for artists to listen to what Dominic is saying, I think you've just given them some incredible insights into what they need to be considering when they're publishing their music. That's such I never thought about it like that. And my whole life's been in the music industry. So,
well, I said that how talented my daughter is as a singer, as a soprano.
Oh boy,
right?
Dom's daughter has got a voice. Oh, yeah, she's amazing.
Lena Smorra.
Yeah.
And what we taught her right from the beginning, from when she was a little girl, was that you smile on stage and you entertain. Mm-hmm. It's for the audience. It is not for you. It's for the audience. So it should be in combination. It should be in combination. The artist should be crying when the audience is crying.
Yeah. No, that's perfect.
I'm going to give another Joseph Campbell quote, because I think it's relevant in that he said that, because he used to he went to Grateful Dead concerts. So he said the Deadheads are doing the dance of life, and it's the answer to the atomic bomb. That's what Joseph Campbell said, because he's saying it brings, because it began with Woodstock, in that you have pure individual freedom, but yet at the same time you feel part of the whole of the community. That's key. So everybody dresses similarly. They'll wear tie-dye, say, right? Yeah. And then people outside the show, you've got people making jewelry and selling it to the people, and then you have people making other things handmade and selling it to other people. And there's always bartering and exchange going on outside the show. There's a thing called Shakedown Street outside the concerts, where they have rows in the parking lot of fans selling stuff to each other.
Wow. Now that's a
Yes,
super fan story. That
that's
is
a
a
super
super
fan.
fan story. Wow. Dominic.
The energy is key.
It
You
is.
have to create energy. You have to make it that the worst thing at a Grateful Dead concert is to sit down. If you're sitting, okay, fine, maybe you're tired, but 95 or 99% of the people are dancing. And it just, the entrainment together, your individual freedom, yet you're in the community, you hear the same notes, and eventually everybody's heart is beating together. Everyone's hands and arms and legs are moving together. And that's where, you know, the coherence, say, between the people in the crowd and the band are together.
So
And
they're in partnership, aren't they? They're creating
they
this
are
thing together. Yeah.
100% in partnership.
Yeah, I love it.
And if you can, the thing that now, remember, the origin of the Grateful Dead is from the 1960s, from San Francisco,
Right.
from the Summer of Love, from when I was only, you know, 4 or 5 years old. I wasn't there.
Maybe
I was,
from our time, yeah.
that was the beginning of, you know, the counterculture.
Yeah.
They were the band that played for the acid tests. Timothy Leary had the acid test in San Francisco. The Grateful Dead were the home band.
Wow.
So that's the beginning, and it still exists today. The bass player for the Grateful Dead is a really beautiful quote from him that's meaningful, and because if you really want to have super fans, there's got to be more. There's got to be more, and.
Yes.
So Phil Lesh is the bass player for the Dead, and he wrote, in the beginning, we were a band playing a gig, and at the end, we had become shamans, helping to channel the transcendent into our mundane lives and those of the Deadheads.
Oh.
So they brought transcendent power and energy and music and rhythm into the event. And so you went there, you go there, and you say, well, why will I go? And you can't stop me from going, because I know I'm so much better for it afterwards and during. Because there's a transcendent rhythm of life that goes through with that music, together with the crowd and the movement of the crowd and the movement of the band and the sound of the band and the nature of the songs being very, I mean, I think they are, I would say, the most American band that exists.
Okay.
But they could play Australia and sell out 10 shows next week.
Isn't that
and
incredible?
Everybody would love it.
And this is what you guys want. This is your holy grail. You want super fans to talk like Dominic. He's given you the most incredible information, guys. So now when we start to release and we start to build your brands, I think go back to this conversation a few times. Dom, that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, that's great. Well, look, I think I'll finish it up there, but I just want to say to you, like, good luck as America reopens, and I hope that New York can actually open soon. And what are they thinking? September that you guys will open again?
No. I'm thinking by 4th of July, things are going to be largely open. Yeah, they're for instance, we got notification that my wife and I are going to Las Vegas for July 5th.
Okay.
We're going to Caesar's Palace on July 5th. It's the Caesar's Palace from the movie The Hangover.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. But we got notification today that that Caesar's Palace and the Vegas casinos are going to be opening on June 4th.
Wow. Because in Australia, we can't fly between states, not until September. Our borders are closed.
We can fly. And also, like, for instance, Disney World, right?
Yeah.
Disney World down in Florida, they're opening, I think, Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom are opening like July 10th. And then the other two, MGM and Epcot, are opening like a week later. So we're opening. We are opening. And there are many states that are open considerably. It's just that, you know, I'm in the New York metropolitan area. We've been hit pretty hard. So, like, I can't, again, this is the longest my hair has been since I was in a band.
Quarantine hair, we've all got it. Yeah.
Quarantine hair.
That's it.
But we're going to open, Nicki. We're not, I think we are, it's, you know, I had mentioned this to you, I think in written form. There's a zeitgeist, Z-E-I-T. The zeitgeist that occurs in history and in times when the masses believe that things are not going to change and they just think it's just going to stay this way. And we've already had that, I believe. The zeitgeist moment has come and passed, where it's happened. Whereas we're not where we were, we just don't know it. We don't realize it yet. We're already past it. Yeah. We just don't know it. And so, things I think are going to normalize quicker than we think.
That's good news.
My best prediction on this is that there's going to become a new social contract that will evolve in how we live in the post-pandemic world, which will be that if you're sick, you have to stay home and you have to wear your mask. If you're sick in any way, I mean, it used to be it was a badge of honor. Oh, you only got a cold, you better go to work, right? Yeah. Oh, he went to work. He showed up. He don't feel good, but he showed up. He's on our team, right? Yeah. Now that's out. So if you don't feel well, you stay home, you wear your mask. But the social contract will be, if you're out and about not wearing your mask, it's assumed that you are well.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's the way we go. We go from there. That's the way it's going to evolve, I believe. That will be the social contract. At least that's my advice to the masses, whoever hears this.
No, that's great. I think that's really good advice. And Dominic, thank you for shedding some light on the superfan consciousness. I think that you've given everyone a lot to think about times 10. So I hope that your lockdown easing is successful, and that everyone stays well and safe, and that I get to talk to you again, my friend. That was awesome. Thank you. I can't wait
for you to come stateside, Nicki.
Oh, I can't wait either. All right. See you, Dom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicki.
Okay.